Good morning, and good morning to the Japan Expert Insights podcast with me, Maya Matsuoka, and with a very, very special guest today. We've got Kozue Oka, who is the executive director of an organization that many of you know very well, and many of you have already helped a lot and are going to continue supporting in the future. I'm sure about this. We've got Kozue-san, and I'm so very happy to welcome you to the podcast this morning. Thank you for sparing time for us and for this 1 hour you're going to take out of your schedule so that you can tell us about your work with Mirai no Mori and what brought you to Mirai no Mori and how you got involved in the NPO work and also what your projects are nowadays in Tokyo and in Japan. And I'm not going to talk more about you, Kozue, because I want you to introduce yourself with your own words and to let us know what is that drives you every day when you wake up in the morning and when you go to the office and when you meet the children you work with. So this is on to you now, and let's start. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much again. Yeah.
Maya. Thank you very much. So I'm Kozue from Mirai no Mori. And so Mirai no Mori creates life-changing outdoor programs for abused, neglected, and orphan children in Japan, supporting their growth into happy and successful young adults. And we create outdoor programs where they can gain confidence and resilience so that they can make their dreams come true. And then as Maya mentioned, like summer is our busiest season because they have a summer holiday. We just came back from summer camp for a month and then just finished 4 rafting programs. And then we finished our summer very strong. And maybe just a little bit about like my self introduction. So I was born and raised in Japan as a youngest of 4, and we weren't like crazy outdoor families, but we always loved spending time outdoors or in nature, in parks. And I always loved being with people, with my siblings, with my friends. And when I was in university, I was trying to figure out what I want to do for work. And I did like volunteering in the Philippines to build orphanage, or like I did the YMCA kids camp. And then I think one of the biggest different influences for me was from my mom. So she's been working for an NPO for more than 30 years to help autistic children and special needs children. And
Mhm.
I've seen her work, and then she's always told me like how rewarding it is, but also like how hard it is. And then I always thought, oh, maybe I would love to do something that's rewarding for me. And then I think I had that in my mind when I was trying to figure out what I want to do. And then during that university time, I found outdoor education. Like that was famous in like Sweden and Germany in that area. And then I was privileged enough to study abroad for a year in Sweden. And I saw the impact of nature on the little children firsthand. And I really thought, this is something that I would love to do in Japan as well. So coming back from study abroad, I did some research, and then I found 2 organizations. So one was like environment education, more like policy making, so top down
Mhm.
concept. And the other one was actually Mirai no Mori, where it was more grassroots, and we take children like in the outdoors and then teach them like how to have fun. So I did both internship for like 5, 6 months. And then that's when I thought, yes, Mirai no Mori is something that I would love to do. So all the timing and connections, and my professor is the one who introduced Mirai no Mori to me. And so that worked out. But then I didn't know how to run NPO. I didn't know how to do fundraising, or I didn't even know those children from care homes exist. So it's all like on the job training, or as I do more, the more I know about, and then the more I want to do something about it. So that's how it started. So, and then Mirai no Mori. So we when we started, we didn't really know what the issues are for the children in the care homes. But we found out that there are about like 23 or 30,000 children in Japan living in a care home across Japan. And we don't call them orphanage anymore because they're not orphans anymore. Like
Right.
more than 90% of them do have a parent or parents, but they can't live with them because of the abuse or economical reasons and other reasons. So the dynamics has been changing, and the children in the care homes are dealing with after effects of trauma or very complicated dynamics with their own families and in the care home system. And it's just so hard for them to make the dreams come true. They are dealing with so much, but not proper resources or enough resources. And then but in Japan, like their basic needs are met. They go to school, they have clothes, they have shelter, they have food. But that's like emotional support or the resources are really limited. And the biggest difference between these children and the children from the general household is that those children have to leave the care at the age of 18 in general, and then to be fully independent on their own. So independent in like financially, emotionally, and socially. And
Right.
then in Japan, where family support or family connections are really still strong, it's really hard for them to make or navigate their ways in society without those support. So they end up in like not going to where they wanted to go. Like many end up in the crime industry or sex industry or like getting the welfare system support. And that's not good for them. That's not good for Japan as a society. So what we do is, as the tagline says, we believe that the change begins in the outdoors. So we support those children from the care homes through our outdoor programs so that they can gain resilience and confidence and then just strength to make the dreams come true. And then when we say like life skills, it means a lot, but it also includes the communication skills or project management skills or knowing how to get back up when they're down. So it's a lot of skills, but then we believe that those skills can be gained by or has to be from their own experience and also like ongoing continuous program. So what we do at Mirai no Mori is not like one-off Disneyland experience. We invite them every month to our programs. We work with them for over the years so that they can learn those skills from their own experiences with success and mistakes and like some regret and some like tears and laughs. And then they know that there will be next time. So they can do, I was really shy and I couldn't do self introduction in English. So I'm going to do it next month. Or I couldn't jump into the waterfall from the stream height, but I really wanted to. So next year, or like when I become like 10 years old, like I will do it. So them knowing that there will be next time, I think it's really important.
Right.
And then so we have those two concepts like experiential learning and ongoing continuous learning. And then we have also three tools that we use to create those outdoor programs throughout the year, which is like outdoors, diversity, and role models. So we started as an outdoor CSR of the outdoor company. So we believe that outdoor is a great environment for us to challenge themselves. And then also, nature doesn't judge you. So it snows when it snows, it rains when it rains, everybody's equal. Then you have to do what you do with what you have or who you are with. So it's a great environment to treat them equally and then have the environment where they can challenge themselves and gain confidence. And then one example is like when we did the stream hike, we just did at summer camp as well. It's an 8 kilometer hike for a whole day. So it's really intense and a big activity. And some of the care workers were worried about like the little children who don't have like strength. But then we always have an emergency vehicle, we have support. So even though the care worker wanted that camper to stay at the campsite, like we were like, okay, let's just see how it goes. And then he just didn't need any help. He didn't even hold hands, and he just had a great fun, like running and walking and jumping. And I think that's a great example of like the possibility that they have. Like in the great outdoors, we cheer each other on, and it's great, like open feeding. So children really show like how capable they are or how much potential they have. And then that of course like gave him a great boost of confidence. And then the second tool is diversity. So we want them to know that the world is much bigger than they think it is, and it's okay to be different, it's okay to be who they are. So we have very international and diverse background camp staff and role models to be with. And then another example for this one is summer camp. Like staff from America started eating without saying itadakimasu, which we say before meal. And then he also started eating with dessert, not the main dish. And then for some children whose world is just about you have to say itadakimasu no matter what, and you have to finish your main meal to go to dessert. It was like a mind-blowing experience, but those like little teaching moments are what we treasure. And then that experience kind of opened up his mind, and then he knows that the world is much bigger. It's not about good or bad, it's just different, and it's all unique. So we love those moments where they have those aha moments. And then the last one is role models. So we have, through our Mirai no Mori programs, they get to be exposed to many different role models with different background, different languages, different culture, different jobs, or different like ways of like living. So we want, especially like older children, to meet as many people as possible, listen to their life stories, and just be inspired so that they can dream what they want to dream. So we combine those three tools and two concepts, and then create outdoor programs throughout the year to support their growth and empower them. So we have children's programs for like elementary school to junior high school students. So it's from 6-year-old to 16-year-old. And then, so this is Mirai no Mori's 12th year working. And from the very beginning, we only had summer camp. We did the fundraising whole year for the summer camp. We did the summer camp, and then we prepped for summer camp. So we only met once a year with the children. And we realized that it's not often enough. So we changed the model so that we have programs every month.
Right.
So now we keep in touch throughout the year. And also high school students, we realize that those are the crucial times for them to really be ready to become independent. So we have like high school student leaders in training program, where we focus more on like program management, like public speaking and leadership training and communication workshops. So they are the role models for the little children. And then now, a couple of years ago, we realized that those graduates from those LIT program, after leaving the care, they still need support. They still need resources. They still need place where they feel comfortable. So we started our graduate program where they still can keep in touch with us. And then as a community, we support each other. So yes, so in conclusion, we create those outdoor programs throughout the year, over the years, so that they can gain confidence and resilience to make their dreams come true.
Yeah, I think that's. I didn't know much about Mirai no Mori and the programs there, but what I thought while listening to you was that you learn all the time and you are doing your best to improve the program so that they can best serve the needs of the children you work with. And I also, while you were talking about the second two, you have diversity and how you well the children have those aha moments by communicating and interacting with people who have a different way of doing things. I thought it was wonderful because I believe that in many cases children are raised to believe that their family's way is the only way, and this is not a bad thing per se because it gives them solid ground, right? And they know where they can go back to if they get confused or if they are at a crossroads. But at the same time, it doesn't really teach them much that, well, being different, as you said, is not worse or better. It's okay, right? It's just okay to be different. And so basically, they do not learn to judge yet, which is great because we human beings, it seems that our brains are, well, through evolution, they have been conditioned and wired to judge. And of course, it has its evolutionary reasons, but still, in today's world, judging should come much, much later, and acceptance should come first. And I love what you said and how you work around this to teach the children you work with that being different is okay. So I just think it's wonderful, and I also believe that taking them out into nature is probably one of the best ways to achieve that, because from my own memories, my family was not very much an outdoor family either, but occasionally we would go up to the mountains, we would hike a bit, we would have picnics there. And also later when I joined, I started practicing volleyball. So the team would go up in the park, which is basically a forest park up above the town I lived in. And those were some of the best team buildings moments for us, and some of the best moments of just opening up and feeling, the world the way it was. So, yeah, later on, of course, I remember also that I worked with a mountain guide who also did outward bound programs, right? And I think that yes, going out in nature, working there, experiencing it the way it is one of the best ways to gain confidence, because many of the children you work with obviously do not have that much confidence before they meet you and join your programs for understandable reasons. So, well, that's just something that I admire. And I can see you have obviously done a lot of research, as you mentioned. And, well, what can I say? What else? It's just amazing. I want to ask you also, you have worked with Mirai no Mori maybe for a decade, I don't know, or even more than that. And are there any things that you have learned from the children you work with? Because personally, I learned a lot of things about children and also about myself after my daughter was born, because that's when I realized that I'm responsible for another human being, and that responsibility was really something very heavy, but also enjoyable, of course. It's, the responsibility with the joy of seeing another human being grow up. But how about you? You work with many more children, and you work with them on a monthly basis. Also, you've got the summer camp. So, is there anything that you have learned from them which you didn't imagine was there? or you didn't expect to learn?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. Like I learned lots from them, and then from like working with Mirai no Mori with sponsors and co-workers, and then from campers. Like maybe one example is, so I've known this camper when she joined, like 7 years old, and she was like eighth of nine siblings, and then
Mhm.
all the fathers were different, and then she was coming from very complicated household. And then when we heard that story, we couldn't really imagine what she was going through. But then like children always surprise me how resilient they actually are, and how courageous they could be if they have a right push. So she joined our programs during the summer camps, and she was always shy. And in the beginning, she didn't want to say anything because she was afraid of being punished by saying something, or she was just afraid to be wrong. But Mirai no Mori is not that kind of place, so they can just do whatever they want to do in a safe environment that we create. So as soon as she understood that part of Mirai no Mori, she really opened up, and she volunteered herself to do the speech in English for us, or we didn't really meet her for that often, but every time we met her, she like really tried to challenge herself. And then now she's working, she left the care, and then whenever we meet her, she's smiley, and but she also like shares like the struggles, but always have the, yeah, but I'm gonna make this work. So like that resilientness or
Yeah,
resilience is something
resilience. Mm.
that sometimes like when I get down, like I don't know how to like refresh, or like I'm just go down the vicious cycle. But then, so like what we do at Mina Inamori, like resilience and confidence and life skills, it's a life journey for every one of us. And then it's not something, okay, like once you leave the care, did Mirai no Mori programs like 10 times, you're all good. Like that's not how it
Right.
works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a good reminder always that, okay, this is a life journey for each one of us. Then we just have to support each other in like, our own ways and in our own timing. And yeah, but at the same time, like when they get down and then share their struggles, like we try to be there for them, but not really teach them answers. So there's always a balance, but I think I love the fact that we're growing together with them, and I am growing definitely with them in like, yeah, I've been with Mirai no Mori for maybe 12 years, and then I still remember how nervous I got when I had to do the pitch in English for the first time. I was like all over the place, but like I'm grateful for all the support that I had, and I'm glad that I'm not too nervous now with you today.
Right. Yeah, because I was surprised as well that basically the coming of age in Japan is 21. It still is 21, even though nowadays people can vote when they turn 18. I think it changed a couple of years ago, but still the coming of age is 21, right? And
Mhm.
yes, and then it is surprising that even though young people are believed to become adults after the age of 21, they have to leave the facilities when they are 18. It is 3 years earlier than that. You okay?
Yes, sorry.
All right. So, and obviously there is a gap there. And if there are organizations, or if organizations like Mirai no Mori are not there, the children will have a lot of trouble bridging that gap between 18 and 21. And what you do there is also, I believe, it's tremendous work, and letting them know that you are still there for them is wonderful. So once they turn 18, and when they come back to you, do they come back for advice or do they come back as volunteers to help you with the programs? What is the dynamic there?
Thank you, thank you. So maybe one point is so they change Japan changed the law recently, and
Mm-hmm.
then in theory they get to stay a little bit longer if they want to. But
Mm-hmm.
then from the stories that I hear from the care workers, there's still children who needs to be entered in the care system. So they and then from the children's point of view, they told us that in some ways there are so many rules in a care home life that once they are able to leave the care at the age of 18, they want to leave the care. And then that doesn't mean that they actually know how hard it would be to live independently, but they just want to escape and then leave and then try, which is usually hard. So I think even though the law changed and then the support that they could have is a little bit wider and then more resourceful, I think it still takes time for them to really make it happen on the ground level. And back to your question. So in the beginning, we thought, okay, for the graduates, we can do all the workshops that we think they need. So maybe it's a project management or a finance like management. But then it didn't really work out. Like it was all coming from us rather than
Mm-hmm.
from their voices. So we decided to have like touch point, like a barbecue or like dinners like throughout the year so that they can remember that we exist, but also, and then those touch point we ask them, okay, what kind of support do you need right now, what kind of support do you think you'll need in a couple of months, so that we can hear their needs. And then they started to tell us, okay, like I'm doing a job hunting, so I would love to do the mock interviews. Or like I want to do the graduation trip from my university, but don't really know how to make trip happen. So can we get some help to project manage? So once we start to get those voices, we started to do those graduate programs. So it's working in like a Mirai no Mori way for now, but also like those summer camps and snow programs, those residential camps, we invite graduates back as a kitchen volunteer. So this summer camp, we have 4 graduates joining every session, and then all the campers were. It was great, so that the campers can see them joining back, so they know. So Mirai no Mori is a place where we can come back after leaving the care. And then high school student, so leaders in training participants, they used to work together as an LIT in high school programs. But now some of them are in graduates, and then they are talking about like university life or like that kind of like not like organic or authentic communications or like sharing information or tips or sharing the community. I thought it was great. And it took us like 12 years to build that positive cycle. But we're definitely starting to see that it
Mm-hmm.
is a ceremony community where they can come back.
Yeah, because it's very easy to have, people graduate, students graduate, and just tell them, okay, good luck from now. I think it's more difficult to create that sense of continuity and cyclicity and tell them that, yes, you're very welcome all the time, whatever happens. And even though you graduated, still we're here for you, and maybe you can help us with the next generation of pupils, right? And well, I admire you for doing that because one of the things I notice with organizations similar to Mirai no Mori is creating that continuity, the sense of continuity in children, but also teaching them organically that there are so many opportunities out there for them, and they shouldn't limit themselves to what is in their immediate vicinity, because I believe that it's very, very easy for children to especially children from unprivileged background, right? Children coming from families where they are abused or where there isn't enough financial means and so on and so on. For them, it's very easy to accept the fact that it's normal for them to have these limited resources and to have limitations and not see the opportunities. And the way you're doing that is, as you mentioned, very organic, which, well, I think that you do need not just the, how can I say, the willingness to create, but also the know-how, uh, and the know-how, the knowledge of how to create it, that environment, so that children can organically understand that there are unlimited opportunities for them out of the family, and then also once they graduate from Mirai no Mori programs as well. So it's, well, and you have, I mean, once again, I go back to what I said in the beginning. I admire the fact that you constantly try to improve and to listen to the children so that you can deliver the best for them, what is best for them. And I want to ask you, so imagine, you know, you're, well, the children you're working with right now, think about them in, down the road, 20 years from now. What do you think they will say about Mirai no Mori?
That's a very good question. So, Mirai no Mori program is not fit for everybody. I think if you just can't handle bugs, I don't think they would come to our summer camp, for example. And but if they like us enough, and then if they see us as a place where they can grow, I think they would. I would love them to stay involved and stay in touch, like over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love it if they can see us as like home away from home. So we're not their family, we're not their like school teachers nor care homes, but we are a community where we care for them, and then I like it needs to be mutual love or mutual respect so that that relationship lasts for that long. So it would be great if we could be the cheerleaders for them, but also them being cheerleader for Mirai no Mori for the generations down the road.
Right. Yes. Well, I can see that you're moving into that direction very, very steadily. So, yeah, which is, once again, it's what keeps people coming back. But also, so you told us about the programs with the children, and of course why you do this and how you do this. But of course, running an NPO, a non-profit organization, has a lot of challenges. And you mentioned that when you started, you didn't have any experience with running a non-profit organization. So, what were the biggest challenges for you back then when you started? And what are some other challenges right now, even though you have been doing this for quite some time?
Thank you. Yeah, I think in the beginning, and it's still now, is to secure the ongoing funding.
Mm-hmm.
So we are registered in a way that we can't do any profit activities, so we can't sell merchandise. So all our activities or all our budget are dependent on the donations from corporates and individuals. So I think in the beginning, without much credibility, it was really hard for us. We didn't really know how to ask or how much to ask or what kind of a reporting we should be doing. So, and then I think I got really tired of asking for help all the time. And then every time all the volunteers and sponsors, and every time I was the one who was asking for their help,
Mm-hmm.
asking for their funding. And even though I believed in what Mirai no Mori is doing, it was really hard for me to keep doing it all the time and then not feeling I'm doing something back for them. And now it's still like fundraising is one of the ongoing struggles, but thanks to so many people who have supported us and who believe in our mission, believe in the children's potential, word of mouth has played a super role for us. So that's been super appreciated. And then now we're trying to be doing more things more intentionally. So rather than I guess like we want to try to create the fundraising strategy. So who we should talk to, in what way, and what kind of appreciation we can share with them. Because in a way, like all the camp staff and me myself too are lucky to be able to meet the children and see the impact with our own eyes. But most of our supporters can't. So I really want to create a way so that we can share the impact and then their stories to all the supporters in more effective or more impactful or more heartwarming way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it took us like almost 10 years, but we finally found our second full timer last year and then our third full timer this year. So we're definitely in a better position to think about how to be sustainable and then how to make a community like warmer and stronger. So I'm hopeful, but also sometimes like it's just a lot and
Yeah,
could be overwhelming. And then like we need to have our boundaries like for camper stories as well. We're not therapists, we're not psychologists, so we
right.
don't ask for those informations, but we get to hear like where they're coming from and what they might be going through. So like we want to support them in our Mirai no Mori way. So we need our boundaries, but also share those stories with the sponsors and partners. So that, yeah. If
Right.
that answers your question.
Yeah, because I believe that these stories they can be inspiring as well for the sponsors as well, and every organization and the people in that organization that support you. I have noticed one thing that it's always difficult to get people to do the first donation. And it's difficult because, I mean, psychologically, I guess there are a lot of barriers, even when people come from well-established families, and they haven't struggled as children. And maybe because they haven't gone through difficult experiences as children, it's still difficult to empathize with the children who are in need of support. Um, well, the kind of support Mirai no Mori provides, right? And I also wanted to ask you, are there any programs between Mirai no Mori and, let's say, the corporate sponsors you get that basically uh, connect the children and the sponsors so that maybe the children can find employment later with some of the sponsors? Because when I talked with one of our guest speakers, with Michael, I believe that you know Michael as well, Michael of
You
Michael
mean,
Perry Clemens, yes, of uh, You, Me, We, and so one thing he said a lot of really very informative things, but one of those things was basically the children who come from unprivileged backgrounds, they have empathy. They also have learned to structure their days, right? And also they are motivated to work. And these are soft skills that are very valuable for employers. So I wondered, are there any programs between Mirai no Mori and corporate sponsors that help both sides, the children and the sponsors as well, work together maybe?
yeah, so that's the area that we're still working on. Michael is a great businessman and new ideas and really great at connecting companies and the children. And then what we do for now at Mirai no Mori is like doing workplace visits. So we work with corporates that support us and then bring high school students or graduates who are interested in to visit their office or factories or like their locations to to learn more about like how companies work in the society. But that the purpose is not really to get their jobs at their companies
Right.
from us. It's like to broaden their views, and then also we ask the corporate people to share their personal stories. So why they end up working that company, or how many times did you change the jobs, or what's the like crisis story that you did in your company that like you get down but also had to find a way to get back up. So that kind of personal stories, like I think we value, because like we don't really know what clicks with who and when.
Mm-hmm.
So one time we had a great like a real estate company supporter. We visited their like super nice office and told us all about great things. And then in the reflection, one of the NITs, like high school student, most impactful thing was their fridge. In their company fridge, there are lots of the great healthy looking snacks and drinks. And then they explain it in the office tour that yes, like it is for business. We need to make money, but to make money, we need good people and good employees. And to take care of good employees, we have these kind of snacks and drinks, and that's part of the perks. And then somehow that got stuck with that boy. Then he was like, I thought that was great that companies like this big still care about the individual employees. And then he was like, I want to work for a company that has that mindset. So he didn't mention anything about real estate, but I thought that was really cool. And then, so we want to create those workplace visits and connection with the society as much as possible. But with some companies, we do internship programs. So we send NITs so that they get to actually work in the shops or have more like, real experiences. So that's something we definitely want to look into, like internship programs for high school students and graduates, for sure.
Right. Yes, because that's a real life experience and they gain skills through those internships, which are invaluable. And I have always thought, I remember when I came to Japan, it's a little bit off the topic at the moment, but when I came to Japan and I applied for different jobs, so every time I got a reply, that wasn't very often actually, but every time I got a reply, they asked me, okay, so what is your experience in Japan? And I'm like, I have just come to Japan. What experience can I have here? If you don't give me the chance to have an experience in Japan, then I'm going to stay this way without any experience in this country. So, what is the point of asking this, right? And I think that it applies also to, well, the internships. You give the children you work with the opportunity to gain skills and some experience so that they can later say, yes, I have done this and this. And so I can build upon it. So let me work for you, which is, once again, it's wonderful. And we need more, actually, more internships like that to let children understand what it is to work and how you can gain skills that will be helpful later on in your life. But then, okay, and then another thing is I wanted to ask you, so if you had an unlimited budget, and I know that this is a dream still, and I very much hope that at some point of time you will basically stop worrying about funding because there will be enough. But if for a moment imagine that you had unlimited budget for an year, so what would be the biggest project you want to work on and to realize?
Okay.
I guess there are quite a few.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
So,
talk about two or three. It's fine.
so 1 year might not be enough, but our blue sky dream is to have our own campsite or community
Mm-hmm.
center or outdoor center. So we always rent a place where we can do summer camp or winter programs or weekend programs. But like I know that in America or North America, in Canada and America, the
Mm-hmm.
American like a summer camp model is where they go to the same summer campsite every year. It's like near the lake where they have cabins that's been there for more than 30 years. And then there is alumni and communities there. But we don't have that because we don't have a physical location.
Mm-hmm.
So we would love to have a location where we can build the cabins together, or like we can draw a crafts house and then we can decorate all the works from the like old days, and then like sense of belongings. And then that's where we can do like communities, alumni parties, and then and then also like a place where we can invite corporate sponsors or all the supporters who are interested in our work to raise awareness of like what the issues that we're tackling and what kind of support they need in a positive way, rather than yes, this is an issue, like we need to do something. Like of course we want to do something, but in our like outdoor, like open, positive feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's our blue sky dream, where and then if we have that location, I think we can do like so much more. We can do like like work with the community there, or that we can maybe hire those students who are not going to school but part-timers as a
Mm-hmm.
cleaning. We can do the like, community day together. So I would love to have a place. It might not be campsite, I don't really know, but like have a place where we can go back to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that in the beginning it might be well, a possible way of doing that might be working with a company that already has a facility. And I'm sure that you have thought of this already. I'm just brainstorming for myself right now. But yeah, maybe there are some opportunities if you decide to follow this path as as a start. Of course, the ideal option is to get to have your
Yeah,
own
yeah, yeah.
facility.
It's
Yeah.
definitely all about timing and all the miracles. And but I'm like, yeah, I guess it's good that Mirai, for Mirai no Mori, it's always like we grow in a pace where we can grow, and then
Mm.
we are growing with the children. So I'm like, I hope we're gonna get there sometime.
Right. Yes. Well, I hope so too. And also, since once again we are talking about funding, what is the easiest way for corporations to reach you and to fund you, and also individuals? Because you mentioned in the beginning that you receive donations from corporations and from individuals as well.
Yeah, so for corporates, we have some options. Like we appreciate the funding for summer camp or winter programs or lead-in training program. And then for those who want to have the employee engagement, we have weekend program that's sponsored by a company. So they can sponsor one day program and they can send the volunteers as role models to enjoy one day out with Mirai no Mori children and Mirai no Mori staff. So that's something that we have been working for maybe 8 years now. So every weekend program we have sponsors, and it's really interesting for us too because it the volunteers' personalities are always different, but they also have the company culture and company vibe. So if it's more Japanese type of companies, they're more like
Mm.
Ohayo gozaimasu kind of style.
Right.
Great, again, nothing is wrong or like better. But then if it's like a more international, like easygoing, and campers can really see it as well. So it's always nice to have that dynamics and that diversity and that great role models in our community. And then for the individuals, we are gonna launch monthly supporter campaign in October. We would love those ongoing support from those who believe in our mission, and with the help from Nights in White Lycra, where Rob, you interviewed Rob, one of the co-founders, we have some charity sport events coming up. So one in October with cycling,
Mm-hmm.
running November. So those who want to get fit and also give back, like we would love to see more people in those charity events. And we're trying to make those events more Mirai no Mori. So we invite high school students and graduates to be volunteers. So that the participants can also see them in action a little bit. Then we also have winter party in December where everybody is welcome. So all the graduates and care workers and sponsors and monthly donors and camp volunteers, we want to celebrate the collaborations that we've had. So we only do this party once a year, but it's a great opportunity for new people to see us in action, but also people who are interested in our work or who know us to kind of get together and celebrate 2025.
Right. And you just, well, to everybody watching us now or everybody who will watch the replay. So the links to these events, the upcoming events, are in the comment section. So please have a look there and do consider joining the events because I'm sure that they will be also inspiring. Of course, you'll meet other like-minded people there as well. But inspiration nowadays tends to be in short supply in everyday life. So get inspired at the events and get to know Kozue and the children Mirai no Mori works with. So, and on YouTube, so the links are in the description of the video. So click there and please have a look at the events. So, Kozue, you just finished, you came back from the summer camp, the 2025 summer camp, right, last week. And so I wonder if you're willing to share with us some of the most, number one, inspiring moments, so one of the most, or maybe some of the funniest moments you had there, and some of the, let's say, most, how can I put it, the moments you learned from the most. Maybe one each. It's up to you. But because I'm sure that every summer camp has these moments. And yeah, I would love to hear a little bit about this year's summer camp now.
Mm. So I have too many.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Maybe like one inspirational was, so we had a camper who's been with us for maybe 5 years, and she's now 12, and then she doesn't like bugs, and then she was always like a little bit reluctant to challenge everything, and especially last year she really struggled with the stream hike, and then she was really slow, and then she sat down and it cried, and then it was really hard for us to see, but then also she was like pushing through to some extent. And then this year she came back, and then from day one she was determined that okay, like I'm gonna enjoy every activities, and then I want to support, and I'm gonna do the stream hike with my own like feet. And then she did it, and then we didn't really need to hold hands, and then she was slow, but also like we could see her actually enjoying. And then rather than just me noticing, there are so many camp staff who are repeaters who've known her for a long time. Like them noticing her growth and a kind of celebrating it together with her was definitely one of my highlights from the summer. And difficult moments was maybe like when we had crying camper in the evenings. Like it's always hard, like a tricky, like how much support we should give her or give
Mhm.
those camper, or should we wait? But then like it was hard because because we sleep in tents, we can hear everything. And then I needed to make sure that okay, everybody's like resting well, but also showing the individual care for the crying camper. So it was hard, but also like I was touched by how kind the other campers were in the same tent.
Mhm.
Everybody was trying to calm her down and then giving like some water, and then like they're like sharing their stories when they're sad, and then really see the power of I don't know community, and
Mm.
then just like them seeing them caring for each other when they're like things are tough. Like that was really in the end inspiring, even though it was a little bit tricky. And
Yeah.
what was the third one?
Maybe a funny happening, something.
Hmm.
Yes.
Mm, mm, maybe one of them could be, so we have those camp characters that we pretend. So one of them is Captain Sunshine that shows up in the morning and tell everybody the sun shines every day. Doesn't matter if it's raining or cloudy. And it's the camp staff's showtime. So we also need to be out of our comfort zone and then show the children that like we are also in it together.
Right.
So I think it was really funny that there was a little bit more quieter, quieter camp staff, like really trying to put the Captain Sunshine face and then do good in front of campers, or like super like outgoing, like a camp staff, just like nailing it and then just having a great time. And then every time it really shows their personalities. And then yeah, it was really funny to watch.
Right. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing those. And also, on your website, on Mirai no Mori's website, there are some stories from the summer camp, right? And everybody who wants to read those stories and once again to find some inspiration or to learn more about Mirai no Mori's activities, yes, please visit the website of Mirai no Mori and go straight there so that you can see the beautiful pictures from the summer camp as well. So, and also, once again, I asked you already, but is well, for people and corporations who want to support you, do they reach out to you first, or is there an automated process where they can, is there a link where they can go to and just donate, the amount they have decided to donate, and they can do that online? So how does it work?
So for donations, we have donate button on our website. So it should be straightforward. But if you have any questions, they can let me know. And for corporates, like we are open to new ideas as well. So if they have specific needs or like ideas, I would love to hear from them and then just figure out the best way to collaborate together.
Right. And to do that, where can they find you?
I think there is like I'm on LinkedIn, and I think on the website there is a contact us form.
Mhm.
So that those two would be great.
Right. Okay, so that's the website or LinkedIn. And also, yes, you'll find Kuzue's profile, basically LinkedIn, the link to her profile in the description of the YouTube video. So click on that one and you can connect with her there. Or once again, go to their website and use the contact us email, right? So, okay. Well, that's wonderful. And Kozue, again, it's we are just a minute and a half before the 60th minute of the podcast. That's the time when we tell everybody thank you very much for being with us, and we wish everybody a great midweek. But I really want to say thank you to you because I know that you're busy, and I also imagine that there is also some tiredness still lingering from the excitement during the summer camp. So thank you so much for sparing this 1 hour and being here with me and with everybody else who wants to know more about Mirai no Mori and what you do and how you work with the children here. So, and once again, to everybody who watched us, do not hesitate, reach out to Kozue on LinkedIn or send them an email and talk with them. Join the events again, the upcoming events in October and also in November. And also, one more thing, I didn't get it, please forgive me, Kozue. So, the year end party, is it open to everybody or is it mostly for the
Like
children?
to everybody.
Right, it's open to everybody. Okay, this is the good news to everybody watching us. So, and there will be information about it on the website and also on LinkedIn, right? Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Well, with this, Kozue again. Well, just I cannot tell you how grateful I am to you for being with us. And well, have a great midweek and enjoy the rest of the week. And I think that we'll be talking again soon. Right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Maya, for having me.
Thanks.